Mr. Halibut, Mr. Halibut, phone call for Mr. Halibut.
So, the story of the three wives, as told to me by, I don't know, various individuals. The story that I knew, slightly different than the most recent version that I've heard, but the story that I knew was that my mom and my dad were fishing in Alaska with Molly and Annie, and
he broke his back.
No, he didn't break his
broke his ribs. He broke his ribs. He could have broken his back, but we were lucky he only broke his ribs. And he was a stubborn ass, and he wouldn't go to the doctor because his wife backed him up on that one.
They were walking in towards their cabin. It was the end of the day.
And I massaged his feet for hours, and the groaning sounds.
And he was so happy.
And, you know, they're like tired, they've got this halibut behind them, they're kind of slugging along, nobody's talking.
She did massage his feet,
hours.
and he loved it. But I want to tell you, it did not happen on the boat with the three wives.
No, the massage was in the house on the single bed.
And there's these guys out fishing in the bay, and the water's totally calm, and so they don't realize that everything they're saying can be heard. Story of the three wives, take 2. Go for it.
Take 1 was interrupted slightly by Mr. Halibut, who came to the song, Mr. Halibut, Mr. Halibut, phone call for Mr. Halibut. Mr. Herring was on the line, and was he? Anyway, so one day I was sitting out on my neighbor's porch, and I was fixing, I got a fish!
But I was afraid if he passes out, we wouldn't know if he was in serious trouble. So I decided to keep him awake, and the way to do it was massage the guy's feet. He was
Well,
like,
of course.
whoa, and you should have heard him. I mean, it was getting a little obscene there, actually. So, wasn't it? What did you agree?
I would say that was
You kept on saying, Mom, Jules, stop it. Jules, stop it. Not Molly, stop it, but Jules, stop it.
And they're talking about whatever it is that they're talking about. And then all of a sudden you hear this one guy say, you know, kind of with it like a nudge in his voice, he says, hey, look, there he is again. That's that guy. That's the guy with the 3 wives.
Well, staying at the cabin with me at the time was, besides my wife, 2 friends of ours, Molly and Annie.
Annie's from California. She works at Hitching Post, which is kind of in the Santa Barbara area.
Go ahead.
Anyway, that's where Annie Twigg works for the restaurant that was in Sideways. And then Molly Priest used to work at Genoa and for other people, and she's one of the best cooks I've ever met in my entire life.
Well, it's kind of unusual. Well, it's highly unusual for 3 women to be up here in Alaska. Usually it's a kind of an all-male thing. And they had obviously been discussing the situation, which was generally known, that I only had a 1-bedroom cabin. So I don't know the substance of the conversation exactly, except that I could overhear these guys talking. And one of them pointed to me up on the beach. And you know how sound carries on water? You could be 300 yards away, and the voices will carry, even if the voices are not very loud. Just a whisper they'll carry. And one of them says to the other, look, you see that guy sitting up there? That's the guy with 4 wives. So they were obviously somewhat titillated by the idea that I was taking care of not just 3 women, but a 4th woman. The truth of the matter was that having the 3 women there was wonderful in one sense, and that was that I didn't have to do anything. After dinner, I would lie down on the couch and go to sleep. and listening to the women just chattering away. It was really quite wonderful, but not in the way that these guys envisioned it. And that, very, very briefly, is the story of the three wives, Joni, Annie, and Molly.
Oh, my dad cracked up and he loved it. And they got back to the cabin and they, you know, my dad assigned them wife number 1, wife number 2, wife number 3.
To the story.
The story.
How was it?
Helping him with his pants was kind of unusual. Okay, let's be honest. Get back here, Twig. The socks, the pants.